countdown.
I didn't give you the countdown. I just hit record.
He just hits records and waits.
Yeah.
He does that, so he can think. And so I got to be careful what I say.
I'm liking the Tennessee orange.
Yeah.
You are giving off like full.
I almost.
Are you sure you're a Tennessee fan?
It's Tennessee Thursday. Absolutely.
Tennessee Thursday. Is that a thing?
Every Thursday, I wear Tennessee gear.
Starting when?
All year.
This is year round. This isn't just a fall thing. This is a
superstition. Sports fans. I mean, like.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I won't argue that because I'm the same way with hockey. Like, same dress codes. You do it all.
You know, I don't have any superstitions, but Andy, you know, he's not here, so we can talk about him.
Yeah, we're still looking for his replacement.
He's on vacation. I don't know. He's on vacation, and it's going to seem like he's gone forever because the way we record these things, it's like going to be the end. It's going to be like November before Andy returns. So, guys, he's still with us. He's still alive. He actually didn't take a month-long vacation. It just happened the way we were recording. But yeah.
So you wear Tennessee orange, you root for Tennessee, but didn't you go to Florida?
No.
He went to LSU.
I'm currently a student at LSU.
Oh, yeah, that's.
And they dislike Florida and Alabama as much as we do.
You were very confused in the football department.
No. I have LSU wins.
You have clarity.
Yeah.
You have clarity. Now, I was bringing up Andy because Andy's got that superstition about eating bananas and fishing. Don't you remember?
No.
He will not eat. You don't know about this? He will not, you'll get banned from his boat if you eat a banana, which evidently it's a thing. I've Googled it, okay?
I must not have been listening to him that day.
But he will not allow bananas on his boat or anything. There's some superstition that's stuck on with that. So, yeah.
Oh, that is probably the wrong thing that I should have been listening to at this point.
You are not paying attention whatsoever.
No.
But guys, hey, welcome to the podcast. I probably should introduce our guest. We know him, but our listeners may not know him, but this is our good buddy, Blake. Blake, I've known you for 5-6 years now or something like that.
6 years now.
You, served in the student ministry that I used to lead, and you still serve there.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of how, the three of us, I don't have the authority to fire you from that now. So, the three of us kind of all got to know one another. But Blake is a huge friend of the ministry, and man, grateful for you. Love you to death. And so we just want to kind of get you on today and let you tell your story.
Yeah, by the way, if he didn't fire me, you're doing great.
This is true. You don't know how many times I've had to have the conversation with Randy of you can't say that. You know what I mean?
It's a gray area.
You said what to the teenagers? You can't do that.
I'm trying to connect.
Yeah.
Oh, you were connecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to connect me with an apparent is what's going to happen.
Did you ever get
on your behalf? No.
Exactly.
Surprisingly. I don't know what kind of mafia he was running back there because it was like stitches get stitches. No one would rat on Randy.
No.
Yeah.
That's how you raise them right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got mob bosses as student leaders.
Very important code we have.
Yeah.
It stays in student. Having the student ministry stays.
Well,
especially in these four walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Blake, welcome to the podcast. Tell everybody a little bit about you. Obviously we know you're a Tennessee fan that goes to LSU, and you wear orange on Thursdays. So that's what our listeners know at this point. So we'll just dive right on in. Tell us your story, bro.
Well, I've moved a lot of places. When I was born in Georgia and moved a lot of places and ended up in Knoxville. When I was in second grade, I bleed orange, as most people who grew up here do. My grandfather is actually my late grandfather worked for the Methodist Church, and was a deacon and senior pastor for the southeastern district of the United Methodist Church. So I grew up in church, was at church every Sunday, Sunday school, big church, the whole shebang. But as you guys remember, church, when we were going to church as kids, was hymns and preaching for an hour. Then you had Sunday school before you went to church. So you were at church for a good 3 hours most of the time.
Hymns as in HYMNS. I was very confused for a second. I was like, hymns, like hymns, like hymns.
Yes.
What do you mean
Yeah,
by
be
hymn?
careful
Singing
how
the
you say it
gospel,
in
buddy.
today's day.
What do you mean hymns? Yeah, no, singing hymns, like a hymn book. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you now. I'm with you.
And
Yeah, hymnals.
but I grew up, in a broken family. My parents got divorced when I was in the 6th grade through lots of turmoil and whatnot. I ended up living with my dad, raised by a single parent. So what comes with that is lots of mischievousness.
Oh yeah.
I lived my life how I wanted to live it and did what I wanted to do. For the majority of dad actually moved out when I was a senior in high school as he wanted me to learn how to take care of myself, which was a terrible idea.
Wait. You moved out as a senior in high school.
My dad
His
moved out.
dad moved
Your
up.
dad.
My dad moved in with his.
Don't worry. Like the math and like, you know how you see that person trying to do the math in your head? That took a second for me to catch too.
You didn't move out. You
No.
stayed. You remained,
I remained at the house,
and he moved out.
and he moved out.
Were you there by yourself?
No, my older brother was there,
Okay.
but that's not like a parent.
I'm sure
He's my 2-year.
he was a
older
guiding factor.
brother. Yeah,
Yeah,
guiding factor into us.
off a cliff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I graduated high school and moved to Texas. A week after I graduated high school, I moved to Houston, Texas to go to automotive school. And there again, just living life as a young adult, figuring things out, racing cars and going to mechanic school and being as mischievous as we could be. And
Did you know anyone when you moved there? Or
I got a roommate that was also from Tennessee. He had originally gone to the Chicago University Technical Institute, but then decided to transfer to Texas because Chicago is not any fun. It's just cold and rainy and, so
Yeah.
I ended up having somebody that I knew somewhat. And we got to know each other pretty good, became, close friends. And then,
so you're racing cars, you're working on cars, I guess you're like the young, late teens, early 20s dream,
yeah, living fast.
living fast,
Living fast, yeah.
literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it when you're in your 20s, it goes by fast?
Because you just do as much stuff as you possibly can do.
Just, yeah.
And you have no
Responsibilities,
other than paying your rent and doing that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you have
True.
nothing holding you back. You just do whatever you want. But along with that came drinking, drugs, just living how I wanted to live.
Fast living.
Fast living, just doing everything that I could. The wrong things in some instance. I got arrested and went to jail for street racing, which is a felony. If you don't know, so don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Well, or those don't get caught. No, I'm kidding. No.
Do it at the racetrack.
The price is probably worth more than the prize money. Like it's the price that it
Yeah.
costs to do that.
Yes, it definitely was. Graduated from there, came home, decided that I was gonna go back to school because being a mechanic was not. It turned something that I loved to do into something that was a job. It just was not fun anymore. So I came back, and my buddy that I had gone to school with, he had a landscaping business. So I started my own landscaping business and was working with him and building my own business as a landscaper. There again, drinking and drugs and doing whatever I want to do all the time. Man, sounds like a pretty sad story.
We've had quite a few on here,
Yeah.
but as you get older and meet Jesus, everybody's life is.
Well, we know the story gets better. Right now, it sounds like a country song, but
Yeah,
like we know that it gets. There's gonna be a turn at some point.
Yeah. So I lived like that for a while. I actually got a job as a lifeguard in Myrtle Beach and spent a summer down there. Tried to move to Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach in the wintertime is not the same place as it is in summertime. It's very, very different. I was going to say sad, but I don't want to disrespect.
There's like nothing there.
There's nothing there in this. And you see the same people everywhere.
When the beach stops,
Yeah.
like it's
just,
it's
places
dead.
are shut down and like, it's just weird.
So what was your mindset during this time of like, what I remember from your story, like Jesus wasn't on the radar yet.
No.
Were you just like doing whatever Blake wanted to do when Blake wanted to do it?
Well, I was going back to school to get a degree in exercise science. Cause previous to this, I had started working out and gotten pretty big into weightlifting. And so I was like, well, man, I can do that for a living. So I actually applied before I went to Myrtle Beach, I'd been going to Pellissippi for a year and passed some more classes and applied to UT and got into actually the electrical engineering program, the engineering program at University of Tennessee. And then I moved to Myrtle Beach and just didn't come back. Didn't go to my first day, didn't do anything. Just was like, nope, this is it. I'm moving to South Carolina. Then that abruptly ended, and I came home on for Thanksgiving and just never went back. Just was like, well, okay,
I'm done with this.
yeah. So then I got to work in the restaurants, started working in restaurants, serving tables. And I mean, if anybody works in the service industry, that's also just a bunch of drinking and drugs. I mean, everybody is.
So what's your age at this point?
So I was 22.
20. So all this is happening in like a 2-year span. Like
Yes.
2-3 year span. Yeah.
yeah.
Because when I moved back from Texas, that February is when I turned 21.
So you were like Tennessee, Texas, South Carolina, well, back to Tennessee,
Yeah.
South Carolina, and now back to Tennessee.
Back to Tennessee.
All within like a 2-year span.
And started working in the restaurant and then started mowing again and started building my business up doing that. And I really enjoyed being a lifeguard. I really thought that was something that I would want to do full time. But East Coast wise, it's not really like a career you can have. If you live on the West Coast, you can, I mean, legitimately, you can be a full-time lifeguard year round. But those jobs are very hard to come by.
It gets a bit colder here.
Yeah. So I signed up for the Navy. Was going to be a rescue swimmer in the Navy. Did my enlistment, went through MEPS, passed my special forces test, and had a leave date of November. And then I bought a motorcycle. Yeah. Owned a motorcycle for 7 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours. Yeah.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah.
Fast life's about to catch up with you.
Fast life's about to catch up with me. I got my bike that night, went home, was living with my parents at the time, was going to go out with my friends. So went down to Wild Wing Cafe. I hadn't been drinking. It wasn't like, I was like, I just bought this motorcycle. Last thing I need to start drinking and driving.
Right.
But we all left from Wild Wing Cafe to make the loop. You go down 40 and, go around the Malfunction Junction downtown and come back. Right there at West Hills exit, right where Trader Joe's is, I fell at about 110 miles an hour.
Oh, good gosh.
Yeah. And my helmet came off because it wasn't strapped, because I was a 7-hour owner of a motorcycle. And I slid into the concrete median. First with my arm, with my shoulder, and then with the back of my head.
Were you awake do you remember this?
No,
or?
I don't remember any of this. I've just been told what happened.
What's the last thing you remember?
Being at Wild Wings.
Oh, so the entire drive back is gone from your memory.
No, I have no idea. I woke up in the hospital 3 weeks later.
Wow. So wait a minute. So were you unconscious those whole 3 weeks or?
No. I was in a drug-induced coma for 3 days. But then my brain injury was so bad. I had a cerebral hematoma on my frontal lobe. So I lost all my personality, all my verbal filters. I really didn't know much about who I was or what I would, they would come in and ask me questions about, what I was doing. And I would just tell them whatever. Well, at one point in time, whatever was on the TV, at one point in time, I told them I was the football player for the University of Tennessee and that I wanted to check on the players, see how they were doing. I mean, just,
wow.
Whatever reality I was living in at the time is what I would spit out.
So running down the highway, fast life has caught up with you.
Yes.
It's a miracle, nothing short of just the grace of God that you're still alive.
Yes.
So walk us through kind of what happens next.
So I get out of the hospital and I don't have, my short-term memory is non-existent. So I would tell you the same story over and over again. But I had been working in the restaurant industry. I couldn't mow at the time just because I couldn't function properly. I had to learn how to walk and talk again. So I went back to the restaurant industry, which they were kind enough to let me come back to Connor's Steakhouse and try and start working again. But it was a moot point. I mean, I just couldn't I couldn't function as a server, really. I mean, I couldn't remember what I was doing from the time I left the table to the time I got back to where I was, going to fill up drinks or whatever. So it was just a short-lived, I need to do something else.
Yeah.
And that's when God steps in. well, a friend of mine reached out to some people that she knew, and I actually started working at a junkyard. Got a job as the front counter person to a junkyard at Knox Auto Parts. And from there, I met an individual who introduced me to Micah and Zach,
Mm.
and brought me to Faith Promise. Because I was lost and, I was trying to figure out life. I didn't have a penny to my name. I had to file bankruptcy because I didn't have health insurance when I got in this motorcycle accident. So,
Wow. And Faith, for our listeners that are out of state, Faith Promise is a local church here in Knoxville. And Micah and Zach actually worked there at the time. Zach's now the pastor there. And so for a few years there, it kind of seemed like you didn't know who you were. You were bouncing from place to place to place. You get back to Tennessee, you get this motorcycle. You have it for 7 hours, which is, you're like an insurance company's nightmare.
yeah. I
you-
didn't have insurance on the motorcycle either.
well, never mind.
Oh,
You're an
never mind.
insurance company's dream come true.
Yeah.
But you make the loop. You get in this horrific accident that affects takes out your job. Not only just takes you out for several weeks. Not only basically could have killed you, but knocks out your short term memory for a bit. So you lose your job that you had. It wasn't really a good fit anymore because as a server you got to be able to remember stuff.
Yeah. It also ended my Navy career.
Ended your Navy. Oh, it took that too.
They sent me a letter in the mail that said, "You are no longer eligible for the armed services. Sign the Attorney General."
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're at an auto parts store and you're getting introduced to some people that know Jesus. Man, where were you at mentally in the middle of all that? Like what?
Man, it was a tough time just because I lost friends. I wasn't the same person that I was before. I couldn't live fast and free anymore. It just wasn't. I wasn't physically able to. Within two, like I had traumatic brain injury, and if anything had happened to me and I had, gotten another head injury or something that, hit my head, I could be dead.
It would have ended your life.
It would have ended.
A car wreck could have ended,
Yeah.
a minor car accident could have ended your life.
So I had to take a step back and realize, hey, God's got another plan for me. I didn't know that at the time, but full circle, that's where, I came to.
So you take us so you get introduced to Micah and Zach, which are believers. Walk us through, how did they introduce God into your life, or kind of how did you get connected to Jesus? Kind of walk us through that story.
Okay, so I got introduced to Micah and Zach, and they were doing this Bible study with just guys, and you go through. It was like a 12-week ordeal, and it ended up where we go to somebody's cabin up in the woods. I don't remember whose cabin it is now. That's terrible. Like I said,
and this is getting creepier by the second.
I mean, it was all the guys that were in it.
I don't know whose cabin it was, but thank you very much.
This is a typical guy's Bible study. We're going to this cabin in the middle of the woods.
And we actually got knighted, and we got swords.
Now they're swords.
That's a men's.
This is a complete, I'm sorry, I didn't mean like this, but this is a complete men's Bible study right here. Like anytime there's woods, you're lost, you're in a cabin, and there's swords.
It was pretty legit.
It was a great time, honey.
But through the process of going through that study with them, I started going to church, and I got introduced to Faith Promise Church, which is a more contemporary church than what I had ever seen before. Where there's
wasn't the hymn books,
it was a full band on stage, and I was like, man, this is way better than what I remember.
I don't remember this. We didn't like this.
Yeah, and then Pastor Chris was the pastor at the time, and hearing his story about coming from his past, it was really relatable to me, and being like, hey, I don't have to live my life wrapped up in sin, essentially.
I know what you mean by the church, because we never really went to church with my family, and if we did, we went to churches with him. So a friend of Devin's, when he was in school, his friend's parents came up and asked if we wanted to go to church. Well, my wife worked on the weekends. She's like, no, I can't. Cutting hair, the weekends is your biggest money.
Yeah.
I said, well, I guess I'll go, because Devin wanted to go. And so we go, and, and I don't even remember what the service was, but I called my wife and said, it is cool. It's like a concert when you go in there. Yeah. And she was like, what? And I was like,
What?
you got to get a Sunday off and go. And she was like, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you want me to go to church? You're somebody that wasn't really into it at that time. So yeah, I know what you mean by when you go to the old school and then you go to this and it's like, all right.
Yeah.
So you get impacted with God. You're getting to see there's a better way
Mm.
to life. There's a better way than the route you were going, which the route you were going almost killed you. Were you still dealing with, like, I know, disappointment from the not be able to get in the Navy and
I
stuff
was
like
very
that?
angry. I was very angry. I mean, I still deal with anger now, but I mean, yes, I was very angry is the way I would say, just about my life and the circumstances. My friends had already moved off and gone and done their own thing, and I'm just left behind essentially.
Mm.
And so I graduated from there, and then I ended up losing my job at the auto parts at the junkyard through my own doing in a way, not being proactive in my responsibilities as what I was supposed to do as a front counter guy, because we were supposed to take people up in the yard and do all that stuff. But I was on my phone and
Kind of just slacking.
just kind of slacking, just feeling like, well, I can't get fired from this job. I'm here every day, kind of thing. And then so that hit me. So then the only other thing I knew how to do at that point in time was work in the restaurant industry, and I know that's how you can make good money fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working back in the bars and back in the restaurant industry. And
And this was after you got saved.
after I gotten saved and decided to give my life to Jesus, and then I just fell right back into the life that I'd always known.
So at what point in time, like you fell back in that, what point in time did you realize that, hey, once again, that reminder, because God's so gracious with us, right? Of that reminder of there's a better way for me, and this is not it.
In my time in the restaurant industry, where I was working 2 jobs at 2 different restaurants, and then I got in the apprenticeship program. I'd actually gone back to school, was in school Pellissippi again, pursuing my degree in exercise sciences, for real. And then I got a phone call that I had gotten in the electrical apprenticeship program in Oak Ridge. So I just said, okay, when do I go to work? And I just got up and left. Never finished my classes. Didn't do anything. It's like, this is it. I got a new gig.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm out of here. And so I started working as an electrician apprentice, but I wasn't making very much money. So I was still working at nights in the bars. I had a kid in this time period. I met a girl and, I had a kid, and then still working 40 hours, sometimes 50 hours a week as an electrician apprentice, and then working Friday or Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night in the bars on the strip, as security and as a bartender, just trying to make it, just trying to have enough money to where I could live like I wanted to live. Drinking and drugs are expensive. And I couldn't really do drugs anymore because I was in the apprenticeship program. So though that part of my life was out, but I was still drinking pretty regularly. Just, I wasn't necessarily mad anymore. I mean, I still had anger issues, but life was starting to feel like it was going my way again. So I just do whatever I wanted to do. And then having a kid changes that.
Oh yeah.
You're now responsible for someone else.
I'm responsible for somebody else. So I couldn't just worry about how I was going to make ends meet. I had to also make sure I was providing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of changes your perspective a little bit on, what you're doing on the weekends. Then I met God again, then I said, hey, God, I can't do this by myself. I was like, maybe I'd sort of spending my Sundays sleeping and trying to knock off a hangover. I should maybe go to church, So I started going to church, and then God starts putting people in your lives.
Mm-hmm.
I met my wife. I had a baby and brought it in. Was like, hey, look how cute my kid is. That's a terrible way to.
Wait.
Yeah.
Was that your pickup line? Like,
I'm a responsible adult.
Yeah.
look at my baby.
Yeah. I don't know how
Well, hey, don't guys use puppies too?
yeah.
Oh
what I
my
mean?
gosh. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't you use a cat for Casey?
No, that's a difference. No, the cat, strangely enough, the cat came after I met Casey.
Okay.
So it
I
wasn't
couldn't
really,
quite remember, but
yeah.
neither was a cat. Sorry.
Proceed.
So I met Amber, and then shortly thereafter that, I got laid off from my job working at TVA, just because that's what happens when you're an electrician. You get laid off from government projects. And I got offered to go to Omaha, Nebraska, to work. So I packed up all my stuff and moved to Omaha and was trying to live a sober life. But when you're on the road by yourself, there's things that happen and you just
No
no
accountability.
accountability.
You're not that group of people that you were once surrounded with are not in Omaha.
No. And it was a tough time for me and Amber. We got through it. Long story short, I had actually got a job at Y12,
Which is here locally.
which is here locally, and I came back to take that job, and me and Amber picked up where we left off, and in a roundabout way. Then now I'm responsible for my kid. I'm also responsible for her 3 kids. So I just had to give it up. I just had to give up something. I, got into Celebrate Recovery. Like, hey, like I have a drinking problem. I don't know how to not do that and have a social life. And also was still angry, about the opportunities that I thought that I was missing out on in life.
Yeah.
And through Celebrate Recovery and years of sobriety, through Celebrate Recovery, really, I just said, I was like, I need to give my life to God again and never look back. Not once.
The example that your story gives, and I love it because we've said this before on the podcast of, and I've heard this said before of, when you've got someone who's dealing with issues or they're going through stuff, right? The answer is the same for everybody. It's get them to Jesus, and Jesus will take care of that. Right. It's not behavior modification. It's not, you can't start with a symptom. You got to go back to the root of what the problem is. Right.
Yeah.
And man, for someone who might be listening right now that maybe they've given their life to Jesus, maybe they've done that, but they've still got some stuff from their past that's still following them around, that's still living in the background. And the enemy uses that as guilt, right? And shame of hey, I'm going to beat you down with this, right? Why can't you kick this habit, or why can't you do this? What would you have to say to someone like that?
God can, but the first thing you have to do is surrender. You have to admit that you can't do it on your own. And the biggest thing that I would say to anybody who's struggling with that is isolate yourself. And I don't mean permanently. I just mean from the people that you know and the people that you hang out with. Stop hanging out with them.
They're leading you down that
They're
road.
leading you down that road. And sometimes it's family, and that's very, very hard to push them away. And I know a lot of times it's not possible, but you've got to start surrounding yourself with people who have the same like-minded goals that you have. And if that's living without drinking or living without drugs or, going to a job every day or whatever it might be, I mean, that's who you've got to surround yourself with, and that's who you've got to talk to. If you start talking to your buddies that still drink all the time, it's always going to be, well, man, it's just one beer, or, oh, man, come on, it's just one shot, or, oh, man, it's just a joint,
Hey, you don't hang out with us anymore. You're not any fun anymore.
Yeah, you're not any fun anymore. Like, what happened to you? Like, why aren't you cool anymore? And you still are cool. You're just cool in a different way.
No.
And we've talked about this on the podcast before. When you have an addiction, you're not going to kick it if you keep going back doing the same thing like you were just talking about. If you have a drinking problem, going to the bar is not going to stop your drinking problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're going to have to change. And if you want to change, like the biggest thing for you is you went to church. And then as you're going, you're like, still struggling. I need to go to recovery.
Yeah.
And then you got the people there that are you're going through the same thing you're going through, but helping you walk through it as you're helping them.
And just the sheer fact that you reach a point in time where you said, hey, I need this. And I'm not only do I need this, but I'm willing to go and trusting God with that, because that's a huge amount of courage on your part, dude, because there's a lot of guys that, they get to that point. They know they need it. They know that this would help them, but it's that walking through the door the very first time. Right. Whether it's recovery or an AA meet or whatever it might be. Right. Right. Walking through the door for the first time, because most of the time when you do that, you're alone. Right. Like you don't have any, and the last thing you want to do is walk through that door. And so, dude, I commend you for that, because
don't look back either. When you walk through that door, don't look back about what you're leaving behind or what could have been or what should have been, or just keep looking towards the future.
Yeah. And have some grace with yourself is the other thing. Yeah. Because I'm sure that, you walk through the doors of Celebrate Recovery, that desire for alcohol, that desire for that way of life didn't instantly just vanish.
No.
It took time.
Mhm.
Mm.
You know, I used to tell the kids when I was in students, I said it's always funny because the window in front of you is way bigger than that rear view mirror what's behind you.
Mhm.
So quit looking at that little thing and look at the big picture.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's the thing too, is and we're gonna get when we get back from the break, we're gonna dive into Philippians. And what was it like last week? We were just talking about this. There was a group of people that was using Paul's past against him,
mhm.
and to the point where they were using it to lift themselves up. You know, they had some ambitious goals of wanting to while Paul's in prison. So like they're doing all this while Paul's in prison. And Paul's response was Paul wasn't even worried about what they were saying. Paul's response was, "Hey, if it gets the gospel out there, who cares what it does to me?
So be it.
So be it." And dude, thank you for,
Yeah.
for sharing your story. I think that's going to speak to a lot of people because there's a lot of people they give their life to Jesus and those struggles that they're dealing with are still there.
Mhm.
And it takes time that walking with Jesus and following him takes time for God to work those things out of your life. I'm not saying he can't, because there's sometimes he just takes that and it's gone, right? But oftentimes you've got to walk through the process of that healing, that breaking those addictions, and you need help with that. And I love what you said about isolating yourself. Sometimes you got to just cut yourself off from the people that are leading you down that road and replace those people with people that are going to help you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And God's grace alone. I mean, I'm not even trying to toot Amber's horn, but I mean, he put her in my life, and I would not be the same place I am today without her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
when I said I don't want to drink anymore, she said, "Okay, I won't drink anymore either." And she was by my side, my support, And I'm not trying to say that you need to look for that, and if that's what you're struggling with, but I'm just saying God will put those people in your life.
It was certainly a gift.
Yep.
Yeah, it was definitely a gift.
We made the guy 2 weeks ago on the podcast, old Zach, referenced the movie The Blind. Have you seen The Blind? It's if you haven't, check it out. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but it's the story of Phil Robertson. And there was a point in time, and it made me think of this when you said it, where all of Phil Robertson, he'd given his life to Jesus. All of his drinking buddies showed up at his house to take him out to the bars. And he was going through that whole, hey, you're not fun anymore. Like, why don't you party with us anymore, dude? Like,
Yeah.
and he literally told them in his own Phil Robertson way. He said, that guy, the Phil that you're looking for is dead.
Yeah.
He's gone. I don't come back. And the way the story's set up is he's actually, once he got to a point in time when he had gotten away from that life long enough, he circled back and began sharing Jesus with all those buddies.
Mhm.
But he had to have a season when he said, hey, if I'm around you, I'm going to fall back into this lifestyle. So therefore I can't be around you. And so I think that's huge. That's a very important boundary. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Blake will join us as we dive off into Philippians. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. We are in Philippians chapter 2 today. And I'll start by reading it and we'll see how far we get. Blake, usually we have these aspirations that we're going to get like 10 verses in. Sometimes we get hung up on one, sometimes we get hung up on three, it just kind of the way it happens, right?
Oh yeah.
So let me read it, and to give a little background, Paul's in prison. He's received a gift from Epaphroditus from the church of Philippi, and he is writing back to the Philippians, and this is his encouragement to them. So chapter 2 starts out with this. It says, therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being in one spirit and one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. And so Paul's sitting here in prison, and this is his message. I think there's so much there that we can unpack, because quite honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I missed the mark on quite a bit of that first passage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do not do nothing out of selfishness and ambition or in vain. Rather in humility, value of others and yourself.
That's hard.
That in today's world, it is very hard
Yeah.
because everybody has something. You're, living up to the Joneses and trying
Well,
to be something you're not, and using somebody else to try to put your mark at instead of just being you. You're
yeah.
trying to find somebody else's mark.
This is something I struggle with every day because, as my story previously told, from a young age, I've been taking care of myself
Mm.
and doing what I needed to do to figure out how I could do it for me. And so, like, I still am striving to be the best version of myself that I can be. And a lot of times that's conceited in how I feel like I should look, or how I feel like I should be, or what goals I have set for myself. So this is something that hits the core of me. Every time I read this passage, I'm like, man, I'm missing the mark
Yeah.
regularly.
Well, even backing up a verse, he says, being of one in spirit and of one mind. How often do we, and I'm speaking to believers right now, of how often are we not of one mind? Like Paul's talking about one goal, and that goal is to share Jesus with people. But yet we as believers, like we can get hung up on, you know, the smallest of details, right? Like you all think about like an experience that you've had in church or something like that, where you walk in like, well, I didn't like the way that was, or I didn't like the way this was. And I'm like, that what you're complaining about is so far from the gospel.
Right. Or what the point was even about in the first place.
Like, man, you missed it. Like, for what reason did you decide to come here? Because you're not coming here. You're not like, we're not of the same mindset here of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I agree with you guys. I think, being married taught me verse 3, how much I fail at that. Right. Because how many times, like, you're in an argument with your wife, or like you're in the middle of a fight, whatever. Right. And everything that you're saying is coming out of like selfish ambition and vain conceit. And we're not taking humility and valuing like even her needs above our own.
Weekly, maybe.
Which daily?
That, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know next hour. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going back to when we've had arguments in our relationship, how selfish,
Hmm.
I was in the argument, because you're thinking about yourself and you feel like you're defending yourself for something, and it may not even be about what you're talking about. And then you almost got to sit back and go, is this really what we're fighting about, or what we need to fight about? Is it even part of the big scheme of life and, what we want?
Yeah.
And sometimes
Well,
like,
there's a
no.
reason why the Bible says that you have to die to self. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't say you have to suppress self. It doesn't say that you have to, like, move self out of the way. It says die to self. And Jesus says, hey, take up your cross and follow me. Like, it's this imagery of, hey, once again, just like your story, like, I'm not that same person anymore. Like, we almost walk through like a daily version of, not quite that drastic, hopefully, but like a daily version of that, of, hey, I don't need to be the same person I was even yesterday, right? Like, I need to be closer to Jesus today. And I don't say that for, someone to lump guilt over someone or anything like that. This is just like something that I've got to do every day of, hey, I don't want to be the same person I was yesterday. I want to be closer to Jesus. And the closer just like your story, the closer you get to Jesus, the better your life becomes, not because everything's working out around you, because Paul's clearly in prison writing this, right? So he's had some struggles come up, but the better, like, the more peace that you have, the more Paul writes, I think in a different book, hey, I found the secret of being content. That's what we're all looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And to have a conversation or argument with somebody and not defend yourself in in like because most of the time when you're having an argument with somebody, they're attacking you for something, or at least it feels that
It
way to
feels
me.
that, yeah.
It feels that way to me. So I feel like I'm automatically got to defend my honor, my rights, like my integrity, and most of the time that's not even what it's about.
Yeah.
They're just pointing out like, hey, this hurt my feelings, or hey, I don't like it when you do this, and this is why. But I immediately am like, whoa, 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 start coming up with reasons of why it's okay that I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me take this to another level, because our example, and if you're listening to this and you're feeling a bit discouraged, one, know that there was only one perfect person in the Bible.
Yep.
And that was Jesus, right? If you look for stories of people who are messed up, that's going to be literally everyone else in there. And we always paint them like as these like perfect images. Like I'm thinking of like a statue of like Paul and not Paul, of Peter in Italy or something like that. I'm like, did you read the Bible? Did you see yeah, Peter was a great guy and God did some incredible stuff, but Peter was messed up just like the rest of us, right? And you've got Jesus, and he's got I'm gonna put this into American terms here, but Jesus has got the nuclear option. He's got the one option that will win every battle, that will destroy everything, right? He's hanging on this cross, and he has the option of calling 10 legions of angels to come destroy the earth. That's on the table of options that he could do, right? And he's hanging on this cross, and he's letting these Romans beat him, and he's letting them, do all these horrible things to him. And he's hanging on this cross, and rather than hit the nuclear button, which will be to summon these angels, right? He goes, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. Like, that's his response. And I'm
Oh man,
like, that to me,
makes
taking
me
what,
feel about this big.
Yeah.
well, it kind of brings a new perspective, right? Of do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Like that applies not just to our marriages, but to our jobs, because, we've all had those people at work that were, ambitious. They're like they're willing to climb over anybody to get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's a real trap for people in our society.
Yeah. Because it's all about, like I said, the Joneses. You want to be up the status. I don't know. It's that feeling good about yourself.
Self-worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, you can actually feel that if you have Jesus involved, because all the little things will make you happy, from your wife, your kids, your car. What's really your priority?
Well, you feel content. And
Yeah.
I was reading, so in my Bible reading today, and I follow like the Bible recap plan. We've talked about it on this podcast several times. Highly recommend it. But we're going through Ecclesiastes today, and the author of Ecclesiastes, which most people believe was Solomon, wisest guy on earth, one of the richest guys on earth, right? Like the dude could make like Elon Musk blush on how much money he's got. You know what I mean? Like just outrageous amounts of money. He had, anything that you could ever dream of, right? He could have it. And yet in Ecclesiastes, the author writes that this is all vanity. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's here today and gone tomorrow.
Mm.
And that's the thing is, you hear Paul talk about, hey, I can be content in any situation. Right now he's in prison and writing this letter to the Philippians, and he has joy, even though he's in prison, even though he's probably like, he's lost all this stuff. He's lost now he's lost his freedom. Like he's sitting in this prison cell, and he's still content, and he's still got joy. And it's not because, Paul figured out this magical combination to life. It's because he knows what his priority is, and it's Jesus. And he knows that if he puts his value into anything else on this earth, that it's not going to be the same.
It just made me think of teenagers when it comes to their phones. Take their phone away, and it's the end of the world.
It's meltdown mode.
Yeah. You took everything. You took everything away.
I'm begging someone to take mine, please.
Yeah.
Please,
yeah,
you can have it.
Literally, if somebody goes, I'm robbing you, I'll give you the phones.
I think my mother listens to this episode. Can you ground me and take my phone away, please?
Get a dial-up phone on your wall
yeah.
again. Yeah. Those are the days. Takes
Oh,
3
miss
minutes to
them
call
days.
somebody.
Well,
Miss them days.
remember when we were younger and like you went on a date like in high school and you had to like call their house and it was always, please don't let her dad answer. Please don't let her dad answer. And then her dad answers. And what's funny is I never was, I don't know what I sounded like on the phone, but I imagine my voice probably cracked. It's like, hello.
Yeah. How you doing, sir?
Hey, sir.
Why are you calling my
Is she,
daughter?
is she here? Oh, yeah. And they would always mess with you. Like dads would
I'm
like,
calling you. Got a math
what
problem.
do you want?
Well, funny thing is, I'm really good at math. Hit me up. And then you hear the mom yelling in the background.
Leave him alone. Yeah. But
Remember how many phone numbers we used to know?
oh, you used to memorize.
Yeah, I know.
Remember in school when your parents would make you memorize the home phone?
Mhm.
Yeah. Now I couldn't tell you any number that's in my phone. I remember 911.
Wait, I remember.
That's it.
Hey,
I know
that's all you
my.
need to know.
I know my wife's cell
Yeah,
phone
I
because
know
we
ours.
use it for Kroger's app and all the other
Oh, for your gas points?
gas
No.
points and in the store. You gotta make sure you do.
But back to the text of do nothing out of selfish ambition. I've heard this said before. Jesus simplified following him down to two things. And it's love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And the reality is as believers, if we would focus on perfecting those two things, which you're not going to get it right, not this side of the grave, right? But if you would focus on that, that would probably keep you busy because that includes this. That includes like, working on your selfishness and putting others above yourselves. Like this all like there's all these themes are still in here. If you would focus on those things, one, I've got a question wouldn't our world be a better place if everyone just did
Oh
that?
yeah, you know, how fast depression and anxiety would leave this
Oh,
world.
Yeah. And two, like not only would our world be a better place, but two, you'd be busy. You'd have something to do for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be because there's some people it's really hard to be nice to,
No.
but then you
No.
just gotta turn that cheek.
Do tell.
Yeah.
you
Like
know.
who, Randy?
Like who, Randy? Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. I mean, it is hard because you're fighting.
This is his personal therapy session.
Yeah, because you're fighting your inner self of what you want to say, and it comes to that selfishness when you're fighting. Trying to be nice to somebody, and because they're not responding your way, you're kind of like in your head, you're like, "Oh, you greedy little brat,"
Yeah. That goes
But
back
then
to
it's like you're saying they're greedy, but then you're being selfish because you're mad at like, come on, you're almost
Well,
a hypocrite.
back to our example of Jesus of, hanging on the cross, right? Like could have called, I'm pretty sure if it was me, I would have hit the button, right? I would have been like, all right,
All right, Dad, let it go.
I can't take this anymore. Go ahead and send the angels and we'll burn this whole place to the ground. Right. But the thing is it goes back to that dying to self. And there's so many people that fall into that trap, and it's a trap of, I'm a believer. I should be at this point in time. I should be at this point in life. Or why do I still struggle with being selfish? Why is that still something that bro, you're going to struggle with that the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The point is, and yes, there is a point of growth and following God. Like Paul even talks about in another book of, hey, we're still giving you milk when we should be giving you meat. Like, yes, there is that, right? That is a thing. But two, in this, of pursue Jesus in the sense of it's not like walking a tightrope where you take one step and you're off the tightrope, but think of it like climbing a hill. You're progressively getting better and better each day, and you're growing your faith. And hey, if your starting point needs to be opening your Bible for the very first time, let that be your starting point.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, when Andrew was on talking about when he was learning to ride mountain bikes.
Bike injured, yeah.
Yeah, bike Andrew. Don't focus on that rock right there. Focus on what's ahead. And then when you open up that Bible, don't focus how big that is and how many stories. Just focus with one story at a time in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's all it is.
And it's a daily thing. Like you talked about, when you got saved, your problems didn't just vanish. And that was same for me, right?
Don't start in numbers though.
Yeah, don't,
Yeah, don't.
yeah. I don't necessarily. That's not a starting point I recommend.
No, no,
Um,
you can save that for the end.
I would recommend, James, starting James. That's a good one. We did a whole thing on. You can even watch our old podcast episodes about James as you're reading James.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a selfless plug. But but
Or Daniel, book Daniel's a good one.
Daniel, yeah. Well, and the thing is it's all about starting somewhere, right? And if, even if like in your marriage, right? If there's one thing, and we know this because we're all married here, we're all adults here, right? Like th- there's always that one thing that drives you nuts. And it might be a small thing, right? Like for me, I just saw your eyes get bigger. For me, like I'm gonna use a stupid example, right? Because it is stupid, but it still bothers me, right? When my wife like takes a shower, the fan, we always called it the fart fan,
Mhm.
right? She never turns it on. Ever. Like no matter how many times I've said this, now how many times I've been like, hey, turn on the fan when you shower because the steam is like gonna affect the like sheetrock and all this kind of stuff. Like get the steam out of the bathroom. Drives me bananas. But the reason why I say that is because maybe a step for me this week, a small step is, hey, you know what? That's not that big of a deal. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to let that, I'm not going to let that start a fight. You know what I mean? And that's the thing too, is in our marriages, in our families, and maybe there are some times where, we've got to die to ourselves. There certainly are some times you need to die to yourself, but not let those little things just get to you. And that's a choice.
Yeah, that is a choice.
Sorry, my mind was going like, what man starts a fight with the wife in the shower?
Well, it's when I get upstairs, she's already out of the shower, right? She's already like,
Oh, then yeah.
I get upstairs and the bedroom's like hot and humid. And I look up and the glass to the bathroom's like fogged over. And I'm like, you didn't turn on the fan, did you? She's like, no, I'm sorry.
Well, she
Yeah.
likes to be warm when she gets out of the shower.
She's warm. It's like the Amazon, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and the whole point of that, and we'll goof around about that kind of stuff. But the whole point about that is maybe take some smaller steps. Take little steps this week.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
great idea.
We're not asking you to jump the Grand Canyon.
No,
We're just asking you to step over the little crack.
and for our listeners, like we're not asking you to, read through the entire Bible and write us a report
No.
before we launch the next
Oh my
episode
God,
next
that
week.
report would be so long.
You need to write a report. But
Have you seen me write things?
that's why I want to see you write a report.
Type it, okay?
Type it. Yeah.
Is it IG chat or JB chat or what is that thing?
Chat GPT.
Yeah, that. I'll just somehow figure out what use that.
IG chat. What is IG? Is like an
I
instant
don't
message.
know
You've got mail. Like
that social media stuff.
Yeah. AOL.
AOL. But like what's
Showing our age now.
your starting point? And
We'll
hey,
start talking about MySpace next.
oh good gosh, Zanga. We'll go way back. We'll make you rank your friends.
Yeah.
That doesn't destroy relationships. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But
These kids don't even know what
they don't even know. They don't even know what's happening. But
So,
just start somewhere, no shame in it. If you're in your truck and you just need to start by opening the Bible, open it up.
start
Not
by
while you're
praying.
driving.
Not while you're driving.
You
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 can pray
got
while
You can have it.
play.
You can have it read to
And
you.
there is on the Bible app. You can do it in Darth Vader.
I told
Wow.
you about that,
You
and I
did.
think that changed your life.
It has changed my life.
Yeah.
By,
James Earl Jones will read you the Bible.
Yep. And it is the
What a better
great-
way to go to sleep.
Have him read me Numbers. 144,000 sheep.
I might be like, ooh, yeah. Tell me more.
Dude.
Well, guys, we are about out of time today. We made it through 5 verses. Yeah,
Not bad.
but
The 5 most important verses.
Yeah.
very,
Yes.
very important verses because those 5 verses will keep you busy for a long time. Have something to do. Well, guys, we are out of time. As always, Tell someone about Jesus this week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Words with Woodsman podcast.